I'm Elsbeth and welcome to my booktube channel where I basically just babble about books. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a chatty video, just to talk about things about books. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about TBR videos and what I've been reading recently and different things like that. So starting with the last book I finished, I really enjoyed it. Let me see if I can grab it without looking. High quality book grabbing there. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This is my first Sarah J Maas book I've ever read, possibly because there is mature content in most of her series, which would have been categorised in new adult if bookshops did that, but it's categorised in YA because a lot of places don't categorise new adult in a separate thing. I definitely think most of the content is okay for YA readers, but there is just one scene where it's a bit like, probably not okay for younger teens to read about this, which is why I waited to read her books until I'm 17. So I really enjoyed it. It was advertised to me as a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. I'd probably say that it's more inspired by it rather than a direct retelling, because there are a lot of differences. I went on a little bit of like a deep dive into all of the mythology and fairy tales I thought it was influenced by, but that took up a lot of time. So let's just say I think it was more inspired by Beauty and the Beast, and I also saw references to other folklore and mythology. For example, the riddle and that she had to solve later on due to her circumstances, and the quests that she had to complete reminded me both of the original story of the Ice Queen and the mythology of Hercules. Next thing, I guess I have to mention what I'm reading now. Last night I started reading Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's quite interesting, but I'm only about 60 pages in, so not a lot has happened. But the world has... I've sort of formed an understanding of it so far. It's really well explained, and it's definitely not a load of info dumping, which I find super annoying. It's explained through the experiences of different characters and the introduction of different people and their roles within this dystopian society. Now let's talk about general conversation-y stuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about TBR videos now. For quite a while I absolutely loved TBR videos before I started making content myself. I used to love watching other booktubers to be read things for different months, and I found quite a few book recommendations that I thought were great based on those. But when I actually put that into action for my own content, it didn't work quite as well, because I found that I'm more of a mood reader than I thought I was beforehand, and so I haven't been able to quite follow TBRs. They're great and they make you feel like you're being super successful if you do read the books that you put on your TBR before like the time limit that you set for yourself, and it makes you feel very productive and accomplished. But if you don't achieve what you set out to do, it does kind of feel a little disheartening and upsetting, really, because you feel like you haven't lived up to what you thought you were capable of doing, and it's quite disappointing. Whereas it's necessary to put pressure on yourself to do something that you enjoy, and it sort of takes away the enjoyment for me. For other people it is great, and if it works for them, that's amazing. but it doesn't exactly work for me. It just causes added stress that I don't really vibe with, you know? So what I have done is I've integrated my TBR into my bookshelves, so that instead of thinking, oh, I have to pick a book from this shelf as so few, I can look at all of my shelves and be like, I've got so many books, I've got so much choice, I can read whatever I want to read. And it's quite freeing, I suppose, to feel that way. Even though I had that choice beforehand, it's a visual way of demonstrating that. So I notice everything instead of the small amount, which is sort of like limiting my experience. Another thing while I'm making a chatty video is asking you guys what content you'd like to see from me. At the minute I've mainly been doing reading vlogs or reading book reviews or little things about my reading routine and habits and how I read so much. But if you want anything different, then please let me know in the comments. There are some other things that I find interesting that might be nice to share online. For example, I really like musicals, so if any of you wanted me to make a video about different musicals and my opinions on them, that would be cool. I've also recently become a little bit more spiritual, so if you want me to like post any content about paganism, then that's also a thing we could talk about. I'm also an A-level student, so if I can make a video about studying, that might help, I suppose. So if you want to see any other video content, then please comment. But I'm not pressuring you to, no one has to. I think that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry if you didn't enjoy it, and I'm glad if you did enjoy it. I will hopefully see you guys for another video.